Um, what does defensibility look like here? One of the classic questions is, how do I start a startup that doesn't get run over by OpenAI? That's sort of the number one question that's in our chat.
We don't want to run you over. Look, we're going to do our thing hopefully very well. We are going to try to make the best super assistant out of ChatGPT that we can. We're going to add the things that we think we need to add to that. But that is like one small part of the opportunity in front of us. And it makes us sad when people are like, I'm going to start a new startup and I'm going to like make a version of ChatGPT. Because we think we're going to do that pretty well. And we have like, kind of a big head start. But there is so much more space to go after. And there are so many incredible other companies that have been built using our platform. We would like to make it easier for you all. We would like to do more things. Like finally now, you can imagine that ChatGPT could drive a lot of traffic to new startups, and that there's like a new kind of app or agent or whatever you want to call it, store that we could do inside of ChatGPT and drive traffic to new startups to help. You could imagine that we could do like a sign-in with OpenAI and people could bring their personalized model and easily connect it to a new startup, and that would probably help in a bunch of ways. So we want to be a platform for other people to build stuff. Our advice is like, don't build our core, chat assistant. But there is another problem, which is, and this is the same for every kind of like moment that I've seen in startup history. People get excited about the same thing at the same time. And so rather than go build the thing that you have thought of that is not everybody what else is doing, we are like very social creatures and we get very influenced by what other people are doing. And I bet if Gary listed off the 5 ideas that he hears most often of what people want to build with AI, like half the room would raise their hands for working on one of those 5. And there is hopefully in this room the person who's going to start a company that is like much bigger than OpenAI someday. And I would bet that person is not working on any of the 5. So it is hard to build something defensible if everybody else is trying to do the same thing. Sometimes it works, it's not impossible. But the most enduring companies are usually not doing the same thing as everybody else. And that gives you time to figure out what the great product is, how to build the technology, before you have to answer the defensibility question. It took us a long time to figure out how to answer the defensibility question for ChatGPT. We had built this thing, and for a long time, the only defensibility was like, we had the only product out in the market. And then we kind of like a brand that started to be well known. And now we have things like memory and connections and a whole bunch of other stuff that really is defensible. But, that was like a fair criticism of us for a long time. We didn't have any defensibility strategy. We just like had the only good thing out there. And then you have some window before which you have